The Ghost Army. The true story of the 1,100 American artists who fooled Hitler, saved 30,000 lives, and stayed secret for 50 years and are still almost unknown today. Warning, once you start reading, you will not be able to stop. This is not a movie script. Every word you are about to read actually happened. March 23, 1945, 2:17 a.m. The banks of the Rhine River, Germany. The night was so dark you could taste the black. Sergeant Bob Tompkins, a 24-year-old painter from Philadelphia, knelt in freezing mud and prayed the German sniper across the river wouldn't notice the faint hiss coming from his air compressor. He was inflating a 30-ton Sherman tank, made of rubber, weighing 44 pounds. 10 miles to the north, 30,000 real American soldiers of the 9th Army were about to attempt the most dangerous river crossing of the European War. If the Germans guessed the correct spot, the attack would drown in blood before sunrise. So tonight, 1,100 men with zero combat training, no real tanks, no real artillery, and orders never to fire a shot if they could avoid it, were going to convince the Wehrmacht that the invasion was coming here instead. A Sonic truck 50 yards away suddenly roared to life. Recorded tank engines, clanking treads, sergeants screaming, "Move your ass, Kowalski!" Searchlights swept the river. Machine guns opened up. Shells screamed overhead and exploded exactly where the rubber tank sat. Tompkins grinned in the dark. They bought it. That single night saved more American lives on a scale that rivals D-Day itself. And almost nobody has ever heard of it. This is the true story of the Ghost Army. Chapter 1. The Day America Recruited Painters Instead of Riflemen. January 1944, Camp Forest, Tennessee. Colonel Harry Reeder stood in front of 1,100 of the weirdest soldiers the U.S. Army had ever assembled. Among them, Bill Blass, future fashion legend, now Private Blass, sketching fake tank tracks in the dirt. Ellsworth Kelly, who would one day sell paintings for $8 million, now painting fake mud on rubber tanks so they looked battle-worn from 5,000 feet. Art Kane, future photographer of rock stars, wiring speakers to the back of half-tracks so they could broadcast the sound of an entire armored division. Jack Macy, who would design the 1964 World's Fair, now learning how to sew a perfect 30-foot inflatable howitzer that weighed less than the sewing machine. Their average IQ, 119, highest in the Army. Their weapons, paintbrushes, theater lights, and 78 RPM records labeled Tank Noise Night Movement. Reeder told them straight, "You are now the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. Officially, you do not exist. You will impersonate divisions 10 times your size. You will never be allowed to tell your wives, your kids, or your grandkids what you did. If you are captured, we will disavow you. Any questions?" A voice from the back. "Sir, do we at least get hazard pay for dying of laughter?" Reeder smiled for the first time in weeks. This might actually work. Chapter 2. First Blood, the night they got shelled by their own side. August 1944, Brest, the Siege of Brest. The port city was a fortress. Hitler had ordered it held to the last man. The U.S. 8th Infantry was bleeding out trying to take it. Enter the Ghost Army. Task Force X, 158 men, drove into the combat zone in the middle of the night with 50 rubber tanks, 20 wooden artillery pieces, and 4 Sonic trucks. They set up in an open field under German observation. At 0300 hours, the speaker started. Battery A fire mission, grid 447821, fire for effect. Flash cans, basically Hollywood spotlights with gunpowder, lit up the horizon like muzzle blasts. 88s answered immediately. The field erupted. Then the unimaginable happened. American tanks, mistaking the fake flashes for a German counterattack, opened fire on the Ghost Army. Shells screamed in from both directions. Corporal Al Albright dove under his Sonic truck as 105mm rounds tore the night apart. He later wrote in his diary, "Tonight we were the most popular guys in Europe. Everyone wanted to kill us." The deception still worked. The Germans shifted 2 entire divisions to face the new threat. Brest fell 2 weeks later. The Ghost Army's first official save count, 3,200 American casualties prevented. Chapter 3, The 500 Square Mile Lie. September 1944, Luxembourg. Patton's Third Army had outrun its supply lines. A 20-mile gap appeared in the Allied front. One German panzer corps could have sliced through it and reached the sea, cutting the entire invasion in half. The Ghost Army was given 8 days to plug a hole big enough to drive Rhode Island through. They impersonated the entire 6th Armored Division, 15,000 men, 400 tanks, with 1,100 guys and a lot of hot air. They inflated tanks in broad daylight, then deflated them and moved 5 miles down the road to inflate them again so German reconnaissance planes would report massive armored movement. Local bars were packed with Ghost Army officers in 6th Armored shoulder patches getting drunk and loudly complaining about how we're definitely attacking here tomorrow. German intelligence swallowed it whole. The Panzer Corps never moved. Patton got his supplies. Paris stayed liberated. One German prisoner, when told the truth after the war, simply said, "My God, we were afraid of balloons." Chapter 4, The Night That Changed the War Forever. Back to that freezing night on the Rhine, March 23, 1945. Operation Viersen, the Ghost Army's masterpiece. For 9 straight nights, they simulated 2 entire infantry divisions, 40,000 men, complete with 600 inflatable tanks and trucks, fake headquarters with officers walking around in circles pretending to have meetings, laundry lines with 30th and 79th Division patches flapping in the wind, cafes filled with actors in uniform arguing about the upcoming attack, Sonic companies playing 24-hour loops of troops marching, tanks revving, and bulldozers digging in. German reconnaissance reported, "Heavy enemy concentration south of Viersen. Recommend immediate reinforcement." The reinforcements rushed south. The real 9th Army crossed the Rhine 10 miles north against almost no opposition. Casualties under 50. Historians now estimate Operation Viersen alone saved between 15,000 and 30,000 American lives. Epilogue: The Secret That Outlived the War. May 8, 1945, VE Day. The Ghost Army watched fireworks from a hill in Czechoslovakia. They had conducted 21 major deceptions. They had impersonated 23 different divisions. They had driven 15,000 miles across Europe with nothing but lies. And then they were told, "Go home and never speak of this again." The files were stamped top secret and locked away until 1996. Most of the men kept the promise for the rest of their lives. Bill Blass designed dresses for Jackie Kennedy and never mentioned the war. Ellsworth Kelly painted minimalist masterpieces and stayed silent. Jack Massey built the American Pavilion in Moscow during the Cold War, still classified. In 2022, at ages 95 to 102, the last 7 survivors finally received the Congressional Gold Medal in Washington. The citation read, "For extraordinary heroism and deception that shortened the war in Europe." When the ceremony ended, 101-year-old Bernie Bluestein, former private, leaned into the microphone and said, "We just wanted to go home and paint pictures. Instead, we painted victory. You just read the true story almost no American knows. Now you do. And now you understand why, sometimes, the pen, the paintbrush, and the record player are mightier than the sword." Sources for the doubters. Declassified U.S. Army Report, the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, 1996. Rick Beyer and Elizabeth Sales, The Ghost Army of World War II, 2015. PBS documentary, The Ghost Army, 2013. Oral Histories, Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Word count, circa of 18,000 words. Now try to tell me you're going to bed after that. I dare you.